Find the settings menu on your EV right now. Not the navigation, not the climate control, the battery health section. On most cars, it is buried under vehicle status or battery information. Some manufacturers make it easy to find. Some make it genuinely difficult, which should tell you something. When you find it, look for one number, battery state of health, or battery capacity remaining, or just a percentage. That number is the most important number associated with your electric car. More important than the range, more important than the charging speed, more important than any feature on the spec sheet. Because that number determines what your car is worth in 3 years. It determines whether your daily commute is still covered in year 5. It determines whether the battery replacement quote you get at 80,000 miles is going to be $4,000 or $14,000. And almost nobody checked it before they bought. Today, I am going to show you which 3 electric cars are actually holding on to that number after 100,000 miles. Not what the manufacturers claim, not what the spec sheet promises. What real owners with real high-mileage cars are actually seeing when they look at that screen. First, I need to explain why battery degradation varies so much between different electric cars. Because it is not random. It is not luck. It is engineering decisions the manufacturer made before the car ever left the factory. A lithium-ion battery degrades for several reasons. Charge cycling is the obvious one. Every time you charge and discharge the battery, the chemistry inside changes slightly. The electrodes wear. The capacity drops a little. Over thousands of cycles, it adds up. But cycling alone does not explain why some batteries hold 92% capacity at 120,000 miles, while others are sitting at 68% at 60,000 miles. The bigger factors are heat, charge levels, and chemistry. Heat is the fastest way to kill a lithium-ion battery. High temperatures accelerate the chemical reactions that cause permanent capacity loss. A battery that runs hot during charging or during heavy use degrades significantly faster than a battery that stays cool. This is why thermal management, the system that heats and cools the battery pack, is the single most important engineering decision in any electric car's design. Some manufacturers built genuinely sophisticated thermal management systems. Active liquid cooling that maintains the pack within a narrow temperature range regardless of whether you are fast charging in summer or driving hard in winter. Some manufacturers built minimal systems to hit a lower price point and hoped the warranty math would work out in their favor. Charge levels matter because lithium-ion cells experience the most stress at the extremes. A fully charged cell at 100% and a fully depleted cell at 0% are both under more electrochemical stress than a cell sitting at 50% to 80%. The degradation curve is not linear. The damage at the top and bottom of the charge range is disproportionate to the damage in the middle. Smart battery management software buffers this. It uses the top and bottom portion of the battery's physical capacity as a hidden reserve. When the car tells you 100%, the cells are actually at maybe 95%. When it tells you 0%, there is still a buffer remaining. The software is protecting the cells from the most damaging charge levels automatically, invisibly, without you having to think about it. Some manufacturers built large buffers, some built small ones, and some changed the buffer size through software updates after the car was already sold, which is a different conversation. Chemistry is the third factor. Not all lithium-ion batteries use the same materials. The cathode chemistry in particular has a significant effect on long-term durability. NMC chemistry, which is nickel, manganese, cobalt, offers high energy density and good performance. LFP chemistry, lithium iron phosphate, offers lower energy density but dramatically better cycle life and better tolerance of full charges. A car with LFP chemistry that you charge to 100% every night will degrade slower than a car with NMC chemistry charged to 100% every night. The chemistry is just more stable at high charge levels. These are the variables. Now let me show you which cars got them right. Quick question before I get to the three. If you own an EV right now, do you know your battery state of health? Have you ever checked it? And if you have, what percentage are you sitting at and how many miles are on the car? Drop it in the comments. Real-world numbers from real owners are more useful than any manufacturer specification, and I genuinely want to build a picture of what people are actually experiencing across different brands and models.
Number 3. Tesla Model 3 and Model Y with LFP battery pack. I want to be specific here because this matters. Tesla sells these models with 2 different battery chemistries depending on the variant. The long range and performance versions use NMC chemistry. The standard range versions sold in recent years use LFP. The LFP versions are holding up noticeably better in real-world long-term data. There is a community of Tesla owners who obsessively track battery health using third-party apps that pull data directly from the car's battery management system. The dataset now includes tens of thousands of cars with significant mileage. For LFP Model 3s and Model Ys, the data shows average degradation of around 5 to 8% through the first 100,000 miles under normal charging behavior. That means a car that left the factory with 272 miles of rated range is still delivering somewhere around 250 to 258 miles at 100,000 miles. Tesla also tells LFP owners to charge to 100% regularly, not as a concession but as an actual recommendation, because LFP chemistry handles full charges without the same stress NMC experiences. The software buffer is still there at the bottom, but the top buffer is smaller because it does not need to be as large. The thermal management in Tesla's battery pack is genuine liquid cooling, well regarded by battery engineers who have analyzed it. The pack stays in a controlled temperature range during fast charging, which is when heat spikes are most damaging on competitor systems. The main caveat is range. LFP Model 3 standard range is a shorter range vehicle. If you need 300 plus miles of range, you're looking at NMC chemistry, which degrades faster. That is the trade-off, and it is real. Number 2, Hyundai IONIQ 6 and Kia EV6. These two share the same platform, the same 800-volt architecture, and the same battery management approach, so I am treating them together. The 800-volt system matters for degradation in a way that is not always explained well. When you charge at a DC fast charger, the power goes through the battery at high current. High current generates heat. Heat degrades the battery. An 800-volt system charges at a higher voltage, which means for the same amount of power transferred, you need less current. Less current means less heat generated in the cells during fast charging. The battery stays cooler. It degrades slower. This is a genuine engineering advantage over 400-volt systems, which is what most other EVs use. Every fast charging session on a 400-volt car generates more internal heat than the equivalent session on an 800-volt car. Over hundreds of fast charging sessions across 100,000 miles, that difference compounds. Real-world battery health data from IONIQ 6 and EV6 owners consistently shows degradation in the 7 to 10% range at 100,000 miles. Under normal use, including regular fast charging, owners who use DC fast charging heavily are seeing slightly more degradation than that, but still performing better than most 400-volt competitors under the same charging behavior. Hyundai's thermal management is also genuine liquid cooling, with active temperature regulation during charging. The system preheats the battery before fast charging sessions if the navigation is set to a charging station, which reduces the thermal shock of pushing power into a cold pack. The cars are also built with a charging curve that stays relatively flat up to 80%, rather than tapering dramatically at lower percentages. This means shorter charging stops and less time at high states of charge, both of which reduce long-term degradation. Number 1, and this one is going to surprise some people because it is not the brand with the biggest marketing budget or the most name recognition in the EV space, Rivian. Specifically the R1T and R1S. Rivian's battery pack is consistently praised by engineers and battery researchers who have analyzed it independently. The thermal management system uses a design borrowed from commercial vehicle applications where battery longevity is not a preference but an operational requirement. Commercial fleets cannot afford a battery replacement at 80,000 miles. They need packs that last 200,000 miles and beyond.